Yo. It's not come up on my YouTube yet, so I'm not sure if we are. I think we are. But I want to make sure. Yeah, there we go. It's not come up on my YouTube. Yeah, there we go. We're in business. I'm not sure if we are. I think we are. But I want to make sure. Yeah, there we go. All right. We are in business. So, busy day today in the markets. I am running Aussie Swiss short. This is a 1 hour break and retest. And currently floating about 1.6. I'm risking 2%. So this is maybe 3.2. So what I'm going to do today is break down the watch list that I had today, what I was looking at, and what I executed on, and what I didn't execute on. Then we're going to clear the watch list. I'm going to skim through all the FX pairs and build up another watch list. I'll go quiet in that time, build the watch list, and then explain the watch list as to why I'm looking at that for the next couple of days. I'm just trying to make sure that everything is okay. I'm going to close that for a bit of sun glare. Yeah. Cool. So I guess to kick things off, let's break down Aussie Swiss. So only one position taken today, and that was Aussie Swiss short. Really clean setup. Really clean setup. I also need to mark up USD MXN because I had a position on that yesterday too. There it is. Good stuff. So Aussie Swiss and USD MXN, the Mexican peso, they're the two positions of the week so far, coming into Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. Thursday today going into Friday. So Aussie Swiss short, it was a 1 hour break and retest. And on a higher time frame, the bias and the basis for the position was set on the understanding that this overextended run up into a higher high will pull back at some point down into support, and we can look to capture that daily pullback play down into the supportive regions. So we had the shooting star throw up back on Monday. Tuesday was slow. Then Wednesday was nice, shooting star, and then momentum just pulled back, and now it's coming through to the downside today. So I caught the top of this wick here, just about, and I'm looking to run that down into 0.6. I am of the assumption and expectation that we're going to hit 59.5 at that daily 50 and this nice region here. I prefer that, but I'm only looking to target to here because this is where I'm most expecting to see price come down and then form like maybe a larger chop before coming down lower. So I want to just be in and out down to these lows and then move. Now, I'm going to show my MT5. I've not ever really done this, but this is only going to be shown as a documenting of the process and transparency. So this is a £70,000 GBP account with FTMO. It's an available. Whether or not you get the capital, it doesn't matter. Trading with the same monetary value as a £70,000 account would have and would give and withdraw from that. So if anyone is there, say hello. However, what I'm going to do is show the floating profits. You probably can't see that, to be fair, but that is 2,300 floating, 11 lots sold. And then we also had the USD MXN position from yesterday. So it's a £70,000 account floating at 73, which is, I don't know, maybe 3% up. We need to get it to £77,000. So I'm up 1%, so it's actually at 70,700 now, the balance, but the equity is at 73. So we need to get that equity up to 77,000 to pass that 10% challenge. And at 2% risk, if this trade hits target, that's the 10% done. So I'm going to be quite conservative with the management on this one, as I do like the longevity that the position can potentially offer. So I'm going to look to run this one down into the downside, and that would be a nice 5% position, risking 2%. That's 10%. Now, it may not do that, but I'm going to leave my stops at break even and manage very, very conservatively to let this have as much room to breathe, with the expectation that we do come down into the daily support levels so I can pass that FTMO. Now, there's a fine balance between trading the P&L and trading the price action. I don't want to get too caught up with this fantasy of this trade banking the money and passing the FTMO and neglecting all of the price action and sticking to my plan. There's a balance between sticking to the rules and letting your plan and the edge play out, but also having a little bit of a discretion and intuition, if you will, to know when certain things may happen that can allow things like an FTMO account passing. For example, if price hits my 10% equity, but it's not at my target on the charts, I'm going to be manually closing on the broker, because I'm not going to let that pull back and then risk failing the FTMO if it doesn't come back up to, if the next trade loses and then I come back a step. So little bits like that. So this position, I do like the daily time frame a lot. I think the overextended run, the candle formations, and the expectation that we're coming down into support, and not even the full steam support, just this first support. So I'm going to, like I said, take this one nice and conservatively, step by step. 4-hour time frame now, stepping into the setup itself. We had this nice little switch point here that you can see. We had the lower high, and then price kind of came down and just chopped a bit, but we were below this region here. And if I bring this here, you can see a bit more that it was a lower low. Tagged that 4-hour 50, came back up into support, chopped around, and then now we're looking for that runs down. So on the 4-hour going into the entry, my execution was just before the news, as this candle here on the 4-hour was trading up into that resistance. I had a little liquidity band mapped in as well from that candle there. And really what we were looking at is we had this lower high come down. Wasn't the neatest of pullbacks into the 50 EMA, but what I really liked is that we did actually break above and then close back below, so some kind of a little swing failure there at that EMA. But we were also at this nice little band here. There was a few different places that you could have drawn it, but I had mine here on this one, and that's just a nice little visual cue for me to see that it's a nice switch point where price may hold as resistance and then push down lower. Now, when price was trading up here, my execution was on this candle here, whilst it was trading around there, so it hadn't have closed yet. So I was trading and executing on the intraday on the 2-minute waiting for the expectation that that's going to come and close the way it did. Now, entry itself was primarily based on the 2-minute. I was a little bit late to the entry. I would have liked to have taken that candle there, but the next one was fine. We had this nice ascending triangle at the pivot, which had been rejected. We had the breakout. This is, cause for entry. But the reason I waited that extra candle is I wanted to see this 5-minute close. It did close, and then we started trading in this candle, which usually that's my entry on the 5-minute breakout, but I decided to go for the 2-minute because we had that strong breakout. Didn't hit the 5-minute 50 just yet, but I took the 2-minute. And we had the breakout of the phase line on the 5-minute. So yes, it wasn't the 5-minute 50 EMA, but it was a breakout of sorts. So I did that. I liked it. Now, the only negative that I'm seeing with that execution is we traded straight down into that 15-minute 50 EMA, which is a big filter and a big focus of mine. Not doing these things is not trading into that 15-minute 50 EMA. I like to have a nice bit of room because management side of things. So currently I'm running break even at the moment, and we like that. Risk is off the table, but my problem comes with what was happening around here. So we had the breakout, we had the entry, and the price came straight up against me. We hit these highs, so I wasn't just yet ready to close the position or move my stops or do anything. So I thought, give it some time. Now let price chop around for a little bit. Nothing was happening. I was moving dead sideways. And usually in my plan, I look to cut losers short. What I mean by that is if I get this high or a low against me, an unfavorable trend change, I'm looking to get out as it's moving away. Preoccupied, so I didn't see this go against me. My alert went off, but I couldn't check it because I was busy. So this is YouTube is not what. 1 second, I have a alert. I wonder if it will be fine. YouTube is not what. 1 second. Nah, that'd be fine. So I didn't see this, and I got back to the charts once price was trading around here. Now, because we hadn't had that closure yet, I knew that we hadn't had that 1 hour closure against us yet. I know price was trading very significantly against me, so I wasn't a huge fan, but we hadn't closed. So now that price was come back down here, I thought, okay, well, if it's come back down to this region, it could either break and retest and continue higher, and then absolutely I'll be out and my stops will be at these highs and I'll be jumping out. However, what happened was we got the news announcement came out, and then price just started to move around at entry. So once we had that 1 hour candle closure after the news, back below that the 1 hour 50 EMA here, this one, because we only chopped around for a little bit, big spike up, big closure below, that was game time. I saw this, and although I don't know if I should have been in the position after this, if I should have manually closed. Again, I'll have a look after the fact, but I stayed in. I went in significantly in drawdown. Price came back through the 1 hour 50 to my entry and closed with a really strong bearish engulfing, even though it had the nice the low test wick. It's very Swiss-like price action. Then, so once that candle closed, I thought, yeah, all right, we're in. I'm still holding this position. Price just continued around a little bit. I was on the train at around 5 o'clock, and then boom, price came all the way down in one hour candle. So now this has been nice momentum come through, and we've hit that 4 hour 50 EMA. I'm at break even, and now it's just time to let price do its thing, because we may pull back a little bit and then make a lower high before continuing. So I'll be trailing it pretty much only on the 1 hour so that I'm not restricting price. I don't want to be managing on the 5 minute or the 15 minute with this one. I want to be a bit more conservative because my lower targets are down here. I want to look to push this one because the daily time frame has so much confluence for it. Now, in terms of the setup itself, the 1 hour break and retest, I liked it. We had the wave 1 breakout, wave 2 pullback, rejecting, and now we're catching wave 3, expecting it to come down lower into wave 4, down into the end of wave 3. Now, I did have a 4 hour 50 EMA rejection, but what I liked about this one is it wasn't a very harsh rejection. We had just a spike down. Now, I'm usually not one for 4 hour 50 EMAs, but there's a time and a place for them, and I believe that this was the time and the place because I was able to get such good risk to reward to the recent lows here, back at that 4 hour 50 over 1%. I'd absolutely be either removing my risk before then or at break even at that place, which is what the scenario is now, where I'm at break even. So that was where I was a little bit more understanding of the 4 hour 50 EMA and not so put off with it because it had so much risk to reward on the to the 4 hour 50, but also beyond the 4-hour 50 EMA. So that was the time and the place for it, in my opinion. We've also got the nice resistance to break out of the phase line. I think the position was quite nice. This 4-hour candlestick here up on the top left, that closure at around 6 p.m., beautiful, and the momentum's just sank straight through. Now, that's pretty much it. That's Aussie Swiss. So I'm just looking to play this one nice and slowly and look to manage it accordingly. Entry and management, I need to dig into and find out what went wrong, if something went wrong. However, I'm very happy with the position and I'm just going to take it as it is. Now, USD MXN, this was my other position that I took. So this one was much more intraday heavily focused, as there wasn't really anything on the daily time frames. The only thing that I had mapped up was this little consolidation here, false breakout back above, and then it was just a really, really, really slow retracement down into it. So once we got that and the bullish engulfing, that for me was just a nice little indication that we're just looking for a quick pop up, and then we may come back down and sink into these lows. So there's no real longevity to this position. There was no longevity to this position, expecting it's probably going to come back down into these lows here. However, a nice little bounce, and that's what we were able to capture. So after the daily bullish engulfing, Wednesday was the execution, Wednesday morning. I really liked the 4-hour, so that was the 4-hour. The daily support and the 4-hour here. So we had this nice little switch. So we had these highs, lower low, higher high, holding as support. And that was a beautiful little signal to me that I wanted to get in on the lower time frames. Now, 1 hour, what that manifested and translated as was this wave 1 breakout. Wave 1 breakout, really, really clean wave 2 pullback, catching wave 3 run. Now, entry. Now, execution was fantastic. We had a few hours of price holding that 1 hour 50 EMA as support. We also had this nice little consolidation I brought across just as a little bit of a nice level or region, if you will. And once we started getting these bullish engulfings and price squeezing around in this 15-minute descending triangle, game on, like we're looking for an entry. That first 15-minute breakout I executed, stops below 61.8, and price pretty much immediately went straight into target. Now, I was looking to target the 2.2 to the 4-hour 50. However, because of the velocity in which price went straight up into my target, into the recent highs, I manually executed and manually closed for about 1.3, maybe just a little bit less than 1.3, because with price trading all the way up here so aggressively, I got out before this, but if price was trading all the way up here after moving so aggressively in my favor, at some point there's going to be quite the steep retracement. So am I prepared to give back so much profit for the extra tiny like 0.4? I said no. So I manually closed the position at the recent highs, also with the additional confluence that this major support level here was likely going to push price sideways and chop for a bit, and that's exactly what happened. So this was the barrier that I saw that, yes, I would like to trade through it, but because of how aggressively we came to it and there was no pullbacks anywhere on the intradays, if something's going to happen, it's probably going to happen at these highs, this level here. So I took my cash, banked the profit, and we move on to the next one. It was a beautiful setup, no management, nothing to trail, except for phase 1, clipping my stops below the recent lows after price moved in my favor, and then break even once it hit that FTA. But as soon as it hit the FTA, break even, and then I was out. So nice little position. I'll probably record a trade recap for that one. I'm going to start doing trade recaps of all of my positions. So I'm going to go back historically on 2024 and make a video for each of the individual positions that I've executed on, and break down on maybe like a monthly basis when I catch up of, this is the position, this is why I took it, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, etc., etc., and build a nice little documentation of all of my positions. So those were my 2 live positions that I took this week so far. Now moving on to the watch list. We had Aussie CAD. We had Aussie CAD and Aussie Swiss as my 2 primaries, but I decided against Aussie CAD and I chose Aussie Swiss, A, because the entry was cleaner and there was more risk to reward, but also because this level here on the daily, wherever you want to map it from, is just appalling. I don't want to be trading into that at all, and we already had the bearish engulfing in it. So daily time frame was nowhere near as clean as Aussie Swiss. That's on the 4-hour manifested with just that hitting that support level very strongly. Although I did really like the breakout of that range, that was really nice. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. There wasn't enough room until the next trouble area. This is a huge trouble area, and it's right on the lows that price hit and rejected. So there's really not much room for me to manage a position if I'm executing within this box with the entry region at the top end and the recent lows at the bottom end of this box. So there's just no room to move is what I'm trying to say. Now, the 1-hour time frame was a similar story to Aussie Swiss, where we had the news spike up and close below that 1 hour 50, a little bit of chop, and now it's starting to roll over. I do think the position's neat, and I do think that the entry was there. It's moving a little bit away. If price trades back at an entry, you could absolutely retrospectively execute. Stops above the 0.618. You do have 0.9 to the low, so you could be at break even at the lows, but again, it's just one of those ones where you're kind of not cheating death, but you're not giving yourself much breathing room or much space to manage and remove risk in a position like this where it's been a choppy pullback and it's not even a 1-to-1 to the lows. Whereas Aussie Swiss, I've got 1.5 to the lows. I'm able to move and remove my risk. It's just, I'm grateful that it was able to move in the way it's done so I've been able to do so very quickly. Whereas this has been quite choppy and sideways, and we don't have the room. Maybe it's just going to hang around and maybe spike around, and I don't like that 4-hour time frame with that little region here that it's moving sideways in. So room to run. It's one thing that I'm stressing is room to run, room to manage. You need to have it. Euro Aussie was going to be a nice bid, but we didn't get anything. We had a nice little double bottom and then price pushing away. It was alright. It didn't look very clean. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't like this little sideways box, but there was the potential for a quick 4-hour break and retest to take that up to the daily 50. Nothing's manifested and nothing will manifest for me personally on this one. However, there was the option for it. It's just become too choppy like that. I don't want to be getting stuck in that. Aussie JPY. This one's looking good. Not one that I was willing to take. I could easily just bounce up to the highs. It had a nice region on the 4-hour here, which is cool. But again, the higher time frames in this 4-hour trend holding, I'm not looking to guess or guesswork. I'm not looking for the guesswork to take that short against the overall trend. It was all right. Very similar story. They're quite choppy on the entry, but we got the follow through now. So that's good to see. Looks like Aussies are coming down nicely. Aussie dollar was also high on my watch list as well, but didn't quite make the entry because of where you're trading straight into. You're trading straight back down into the support. It's already at the support, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So where are you going to run to? It was on watch because I liked the Aussies and we had the nice 4-hour breakout, pull back into the 4-hour 50, but just not enough execution personally. Aussie 200, similar story. It was really nice. It was a really nice position, but just not one I'm willing to risk my capital on with nowhere to run, right? We've already got that movement to the downside, which is good, but there's no downside movement. There's no room to run on the 4-hour. On the daily, you'd be trading through that daily support and that daily 50 EMA. It's not something that has longevity and sustainability. So for that fact, it was going to be just a really quick one-to-one to the recent lows. But I beg the question of, with everything else on watch, with so much more risk to reward, why get stuck in these little things? There wasn't really an entry. You could have taken that 15-minute breakout, but nothing for me, and not one that I would have been happy to execute. Although the break and retest, the principle is there. It was a nice setup, just not one that I was willing to take. Gold, I was looking to take the pullback into the 4-hour 50 and then to short that down to the daily 50, but it's just moved. So not really looking for anything on that one personally now. And then these are the development ones. So I'm going to remove. I'm not getting involved in any of these blue ones. No. So all of these are going to come off the watch list because I'm not looking to execute. These are my main development ones. So these ones are good. I like these. I'll quickly go over these, build a watch list, and then if there's anything I add, I'll go over it. So Euro Swiss. We have this nice breakout of this region here into a higher high, and we're just looking to play that retracement back down into support, really. And that's all it is. So today we've got that bearish engulfing that looks like it's starting to form. So we come down to the 1 hour and the 4 hour. We've got nice room to the 4-hour 50, but unfortunately this one might look a little bit choppy. But if we come back up lower high, we can easily short this down into the 4-hour 50 just for a quick pullback. Nothing crazy, daily pullback play, but a nice quick 2.5 to 1, like so. And that's how I'm going to be looking to play this. This is ready now, and it's going to be on the secondary because it's nothing too crazy. Euro pound, I don't mind. It's on a nice support. It's on a nice support region here. So you have these lows. We're just looking for a nice quick pop up back up into these highs. So nothing more than a 1-to-1 to the 4-hour 50 EMA. However, I do really like how well price has been maintained and capped. So if we start to hold these lows, not that one. If we do hold these lows and we get a nice break and retest of the 1-hour 50, we can look to take that for a quick one up into the 4-hour 50 EMA. Not ready yet, and not one of my favorites, but it's definitely one to watch. Pound CAD, one that I have been watching for a while, and we did cover on Tuesday, is unfortunately breaking out significantly above us, but not unfortunately, because now it's becoming overextended. So what we're looking for is for price to slow down and reverse up and around these high regions, and we can look to short that pullback down into the support regions here. So really liking pound CAD, but there's just nothing ready just yet. Same story with GBP Swiss, is it's broken straight through, which is fine. We want it to come back down to these regions. Why do I keep doing that? We want it to come back down to these regions here, and we're just going to wait for the deceleration and the stalling to capture that short back down into the into the daily support. But nothing is ready just yet there. GBP JPY, if we can come up and take this wick high out, I'll be all over that for a short down into that daily 50 EMA. But until then, I think everything might be a bit premature. However, I would be willing to remove and change that belief that I want to see price come up to that daily high. It doesn't have to. It's already at, that 200 region, huge psychological level. It's nice and overextended here. Could get a nice little pullback. So what we can look for is really clean intradays like we're currently getting to make up for that lack of a daily time frame, if you will. And if we get a nice little switch over, maybe around this region here, we can look to capture that wave 2 pullback and wave 3 run down into the 4-hour 50. So this one's really nice too. Just need some more time. Now, GBP USD. I'm not a huge fan of this, to be completely honest. I'm not a huge fan, but it has got the overextended deceleration shooting star, and now we're looking for that pullback. 4-hour, it's in the region, but now this is just looking a little messy, if I might say so myself. However, with that being said, if price just pulls back up into this region here, there's no reason why we can't just get a nice quick short trade down into that 4-hour 50 EMA. Like that. Quick 2-to-1. This one's also ready. Kiwi CAD. This one's starting to chop around a little bit. I'm losing a bit of faith on it, but I love the level. I think we might stall around here for a few more days. I keep doing that. We might stall around here for a few more days, and then we can look to take that short back down into the daily. So I really like the daily time frame. 4-hour and the 1-hour still just need some catching up, so nothing just yet. Kiwi Swiss. I could imagine we'll see the same thing happen on Kiwi Swiss that's happening on Aussie Swiss, which is this retracement back down into that daily support. It's just not there yet. However, that's a really, really clean level. If this breaks, we get that lower low pull back, we can easily capture that short down to that 4-hour 50. So there is an abundance of opportunity right now in the market. So this is looking really cool. This one's going to go up into the secondary. Not been adding these. However, this pound CAD's going to go up. This one's also in the region, so it's going to go there. That one's overextended, so we like that. This one could be okay. And Kiwi CAD, I like it. And Kiwi Yen now. I really wanted to take that short, but price just came up and took out the highs. So now what we're looking for is the same thing, but just seeing if we can get that breakdown. Not the best of levels, but a level nevertheless. I don't like that you'd be trading straight onto that. So probably not one that I'd be looking to capture the 1-hour break and retest on. However, one to note. We get a beautiful reversal. Something like that happens. 1, 2, 3 down. That tightens up a bit, but yeah, 1 hour, I think you'd just be asking for trouble trading straight into that trend line here. And then even if you do get the breakout, you're at these lows, so it may just continue chopping around like this. So I think it needs a little bit more development. I'm not going to lose sleep over this one, but I'll leave it there anyways. Now I'm going to quickly go over and build a watch list and then go from there. So Aussie 200, I've covered this, but I'm not a fan of this daily time frame straight into support. It's not really anything I'm looking for. I can almost guarantee that this is going to sink. That was a short position that I was eyeing up back over here. However, it just didn't give me what I want, and now it's just been teasing. I mean, look at this. Where's my weekly 50? Nice. Quick 3-to-1. on the equities, shorting the Japanese stock market. Lower low, pullback, quite choppy, but I mean, if you were to look at the intradays and get that breakout, that would be phenomenal. Just time that breakout beautifully. However, not one that I'm going to be looking to execute on, although I do believe that we're going to see that sink. This is nice. This is cool. Nice overextended run. Not too much room to run, though. And it's pretty much already at that 4-hour 50 EMA. We don't have like a nice switch point up here and up here either, so not really one I'm going to be looking to execute. Don't like that we'd be trading straight into that, so no. And then this one already went without us. Is there a nice entry? You could argue that you could take that break and retest the 4-hour 50. Trailing quite high. I think it's there. Just not really what I'm looking for though. I don't know why that's the one, not the 1 hour. There we go, that's better. US 30. No. This is so gross. Oil. Choppy. Choppy. Silver. Just be careful of that wick. We're on that 4-hour 50. That's a gross rejection. I already covered gold. I was looking for the short. Alright, Aussie dollar. Been through Aussie dollar, so I'm not going to do it again. But I just don't like that we were trading straight back down into those regions there, so no. It's the only one I'm going to add, I think. I think that could be quite a nice breakout to the downside. That monthly wick tells me otherwise, though. Although this is really clean. It's a nice reversal. What's the button? Alt I. No. Function I? No. Alt I. There we go. Boom. Look at that. No, you'd just be trading straight up into that weekly 50. and that wick there. So no, that's what's holding it. Look at that. Monthly, bam. Sideways, dead. Although it's nice, although it could be cool, but not a position for me. However, that is holding nicely as strong resistance. And we could see a nice breakout to the downside like this, and then lower high to short for a swing trade. Yeah, that's it. Only thing I added was Aussie Kiwi. Aussie Kiwi, even then, isn't great, but if I were to be looking at something, it's just a bounce up into these regions here. That's it. It's just bouncing from this support up. And then here, it's just starting to decelerate a bit now. So if we can get some deceleration, that'd be cool, but there's nothing confirmed yet. So it's just going to go on the development. So primary to secondary, what are we looking at? So I'm already short Aussie Swiss. So I probably wouldn't want to open up my exposure to another Swiss. I do quite like GBP, Euro GBP, but I just don't like how far it can run. I love GBP CAD. I don't mind pound Swiss. I don't mind GBP JPY. I really like the intradays, and I think that's what's going to hold the position for me. So we're going to move that to primary. GBP USD is ready, but I don't like how much risk to reward it's got, so it's going to stay in the secondary. I do like Kiwi CAD, but it's just choppy at the moment, so no position just yet. And then Kiwi Swiss, same thing. I'm already short Aussie Swiss, probably not that one, but I don't mind Aussie Kiwi, that can go up to the secondary. And then this one kind of just needs to play around a bit. So I will move it to the secondary, as that they're quite nice tweezers. That momentum could come through. And if we clear these lows, I'll be looking for that break and retest. The 4-hour 50, and that could be phenomenal, but maybe not the 1-hour 50 break and retest. So that's my update. Crypto's going down a bit, which is nice. We like to see that. Now what I'm going to do is wrap this one up, but yeah, let's just see this momentum come through down into support. I'm at break even. I'll wait for a significant lower high here on the 1-hour and the 4-hour. It's probably going to come up to somewhere like this. And then once we get that lower high, then a lower low, I'll trail that. And like that's how I'm going to play it, like really, really slowly. So thank you very much for watching. Oh, my position didn't go through. Add to, not watch this portfolio. Nice one, closed. So Aussie Swiss short live, 1 to 1.3 on USD Mexican pesos. That's the analysis, that's the update. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back in on Saturday for a quick crypto market